The Mickey and Minnie Mouse sex tape.
Oh, yep, here we go. If you know anything about Disney Lost Media or Disney rumors, you've heard of this one. Oh, this is infamous. Alright, so we're going to try something a little different this time. I'm going to try and record and see if you guys prefer the overlay or no overlay. So this is me currently with no overlay. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, hello my disciples. I'm Dark the Damned, and today we're going to be watching 15 lost Disney cartoon episodes and shorts that we may never see again, by Blame It on George. Now, this one is a classic video, and this is one of the videos I used to watch when I was a kid that first really got me into lost media. Now, we already did one on 40 pieces of lost media that we may never see again, but this one's special because this is Disney, and I love my Disney theories and lost media, so I'm very excited to get into this. So let's full screen. Let's get straight into this. I've seen this video a few times, but it has actually been a few years since I've watched it again. So it's going to be nice to revisit this.
The Walt Disney Corporation has been a huge entertainment and media powerhouse for as long as any of us have been alive.
Yep.
While a great deal of its titanic output has seen home video release or is at least available to watch in some form online, the law of averages dictates that with this sheer volume of material, a good amount is going to slip through the cracks of the internet.
Oh, and they definitely have. There are loads of lost media out there that we're still looking for. Also, this music, by the way, I would remember looking for years to try and find it. Ironically, it's a Death Note song. It's Light's theme, or Kira's theme F, if you're wondering which theme it is. I personally think it's one of my favourite songs from Death Note. I just love the guitar. It just is really nice and very relaxing as well.
And while some of the following TV shows and movies and shorts can be found partially online, much of this material remains safely locked up in a vault somewhere in the House of Mouse.
Yep.
And some of it is almost certainly gone for good. So today, we're going over 15 lost Disney cartoons, episodes, and shorts that we may never see again.
And I actually believe some of these have since been found, so I'm going to comment on these as they come. Lost Disney. I'm excited to see this, let's go.
Nightmare Ned.
And actually, this is one of them that was found. I can remember watching the update videos on this, but yeah, Nightmare Ned has been found.
Nightmare Ned aired very briefly, for 4 months in 1997, on the ABC network as part of their Saturday morning lineup. Like the Windows PC video game on which it was based, the show featured an odd blend of humor and horror elements. Its protagonist, Ned Niedermeyer, is a 10-year-old boy who deals with his anxieties by confronting versions of them in his nightmares.
Which I think is actually a really clever and cool concept for a kid's show. Although, I don't think this one lasted very long. I think it was only for like a single season, then it got cancelled.
The dark themes and animation style set the show apart from the rest of ABC's lineup, but didn't necessarily help it to attract viewers.
Yeah.
The show was cancelled after only 12 episodes.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was around 12 episodes. Again, it's been a while since I've seen this. It's such a shame as well, because this show has had a lot of promise to it. But, you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. Some things are just cut too early. I mean, look at Spectacular Spider-Man.
For a mundane reason, it kept running over budget, and was never really given a chance to find its footing, having a rather high-concept premise that was not understood well by network executives. Of the 12 episodes that were produced, 9.5 are available online. The 22-minute show was regularly split into two 11-minute segments, and the first half of episode 8 is unaccounted for, while episodes 3 and 10 are missing in their entirety.
But yeah, since this video has been uploaded, all the episodes have been found, so yeah, this series is no longer lost media.
Disney's Sing Me a Story with Belle.
And I know this still is. I believe there are still a good few episodes of this series that haven't been found. I know a few episodes have been found since this was posted, but I don't think the entire series has been accounted for yet.
Running in syndication on the Disney Channel between 1995 and 1999, Sing Me a Story with Belle was an educational series featuring Belle from Beauty and the Beast, who is now the proprietor of a bookshop in the village. Similar in format to Shining Time Station, the show employed musical segments and clips from classic Disney cartoons as a means for Belle to impart moral lessons to her young visitors.
Yeah, this is like King Koopa's cool cartoons where I think it just kind of... I'm not sure if it's exactly the same premise, but it's a show, but at the same time it has other things in it, like other cartoons, and there's a term for it, I just can't think of it.
in accordance with the recent EI, or Educational Information Content mandates that had been passed by the FCC in 1990. This clever use of Disney's Deep Vault allowed producers to use higher quality animation than could normally be found in educational shows at that time. However, the show may have been overshadowed by Timon and Pumbaa, an animated series based on the hit film The Lion King that made its debut on the same day as Sing Me a Story.
Yeah, I mean, that can happen. I've heard stories of that happening a lot, where two shows or two movies air at the same time, and one ends up just getting completely overshadowed by the other. And it's a shame, really, but at least we know some parts of this series are still around, if not all of it.
The series was ultimately cancelled after 26 episodes.
I mean, that was better than Nightmare Ned.
Of these, only 10 have surfaced online. A British YouTuber was able to capture them airing on Playhouse Disney UK, something which probably will not happen again anytime soon. Until then, the other 16 episodes will likely remain buried deep in Disney's vault.
But again, I think some of the episodes have been found since. I don't think the entire series is accounted for, but at least we know we've made some progress. Hopefully some more will pop up soon.
The Schnookums and Meat Funny Cartoon Show.
Yep, this one. I remember this. This was Disney's answer to gross out stuff, so think Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life, etc. This was their attempt of trying to replicate that, but it kind of failed. I mean, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but you can't beat Ren and Stimpy at its own game. But yeah, Schnookums and Meat, don't really have a lot to say about it. I don't know if the entire series has been found yet, or if some of it is still lost. This is where the status was at the time of this video being uploaded.
By 1995, Disney had decided that they were going to need a response to the current wave of gross-out, extreme slapstick cartoons like Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life. Well, the animation is not nearly as innovative as either of those, and the humor is not quite as edgy.
It kind of seems like they were kind of going in the middle route, where they kind of wanted to dip their toe in, but they didn't want to go for a full swim, if that made sense, where I can kind of see why it failed. It's like, if you're going to go the gross-out route, you got to commit to it. You can't just go half and half, because you're going to annoy everybody. You're going to annoy the gross-out fans who want all the grossness, and then you're going to annoy the people who don't like gross-out, because there's a little bit of gross-out, but there's not enough. You know what I mean?
The episodes that are available are pretty damn funny. Schnookums the Cat and Meat the Dog led off each show with one segment, and two more segments of each show were devoted to Pith Possum, super dynamic possum of tomorrow. Basically, a Batman spoof.
Oh yeah, I forget cartoons did that, where they had segments of other stuff. I guess it's like the Animaniacs as well, because, you know, whenever people think of the Animaniacs, they mainly think of Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, but no, I believe the Animaniacs had different segments dedicated to different characters.
And Tex Tin Star, a Western parody. The show ran on the Disney Afternoon syndicated lineup, and reruns later broadcasted on the Toon Disney Channel until that station demise in 2009. Unfortunately, but somewhat predictably, Disney's attempt at edgy animated humor failed to catch on, and the show lasted only a measly 13 episodes. Of these, only 8 are available online, although Spanish versions of a couple of these missing episodes are rumored to be floating around.
Yeah, sometimes if you can't find the English dub or English version, you can find different language versions of the media. So I guess you could count those as found media, even if they're not, you know, the dub is not found. But I don't think Schnookums and Meat was that horrible. I mean, it's kind of to be honest, but it's nothing offensive. I hope they do find it, and I don't know if the series has fully been found yet, but I know there are probably some people out there looking for it if it still remains lost.
Laughlets. Perhaps the most obscure of the lost Disney media, Laughlets was one of the earliest works from Walt Disney, made sometime between 1922 and 1923.
Yes, that's even before Mickey Mouse, that's before Pete the Dog, before Oswald. Yeah, very old.
They are a series of silent short animations made by the man himself, and have seldom seen any release of any kind. Very little information is known about Laughlets. There are no screenshots, no ads, and obviously no footage. There's nothing. What we do know are the names of all the shorts, their runtime being sometime between 20 to 30 seconds, and according to Big Cartoon Database, that they were made to fill in the gap between Disney's Laugh-O-Gram series and Alice comedies.
It's a shame, really. I would have loved to have seen these old cartoons just to kind of see the progression in Walt Disney's style, you know, before he landed on Mickey.
It's unknown if any copies exist to this day.
I hope there are some, definitely.
The Mickey and Minnie Mouse sex tape.
Oh, yep, here we go. If you know anything about Disney lost media or Disney rumors, you've heard of this one. Oh, this is infamous. And we don't really know if it actually exists or not. You know, there was a recounting of it in a 1994 documentary, I'm pretty sure, but we really don't know for sure if this tape still exists.
Now allow me to briefly switch gears. While the existence of the animated short we're about to talk about is purely rumor, perhaps even an urban legend, the mere possibility makes it too good to not include on this list.
Exactly.
And the story has been recounted by at least one credible source. According to the legend, a pair of Disney animators were inspired to create the short for Walt Disney himself on the occasion of his birthday in 1936. The short gag reel was, to put it bluntly, Mickey and Minnie Mouse porn.
Yep, pretty much.
It was shown to Walt and a room full of enthusiastic onlookers during a birthday celebration. Disney appeared to be amused, praised the animation, and asked who was responsible. And when the two animators identified themselves, they were fired on the spot. Of course, all known copies of the film were destroyed. The story was told by a Disney animator in a 1995 documentary, giving it an air of credibility.
That's the only kind of credible source that we know of that talked about the rumored existence of this tape.
But even if it's true, it's highly unlikely that any copies have surfaced in any form. We can be sure, though, that if any do, the internet will eventually get its hands on them.
Oh yeah, definitely. The internet would go absolutely ballistic for this. If you want a kind of scary fact, because Mickey and Minnie Mouse are now public domain, you know, this version of them, they could legally, people could make that tape and they wouldn't get into trouble for it. Just saying. Hope you sleep well tonight knowing that fact.
Dreamfinders.
Oh, this one, Dreamfinders. This is actually fake. This is a fake piece of lost media. Although at the time, it wasn't known if it was real or not. But no, this has been proven to be fake.
When the Disney Channel launched in 1983, it debuted several shows, such as You and Me, Kid, and Welcome to Pooh Corner, that went on to be staples of the fledgling network. While Disney Channel would of course go on to great success, and was an early step in Disney's eventual near domination of media, one of its launch titles barely saw the light of day. The show was called Dreamfinders, and references to it in early Disney Channel promotional materials are among the only reasons anyone remembers it existed.
But yeah, no, I don't think it was ever made. Like, it doesn't exist.
Based on the Epcot attraction Journey into Imagination, it featured a group of children whose magical friend could transport them to the realm of imagination to find solutions to their problems.
Doesn't that sound familiar? I mean, we just had that with Nightmare Ned. Talk about reusing ideas. Unless this one came first.
Only 3 episodes of the show were aired, and then only in the first week of the Disney Channel's existence.
Unless I'm getting this mixed up and it's the ride Journey to Imagination that's fake. Something to do with Dreamfinders or Journey to Imagination, one of the two is fake. I know that for sure. I just can't remember for the life of me which one it is.
Has ever come forward with recorded copies, and reruns have not been shown on any of Disney's other outlets. However interesting it may have been as a product of an interesting time in Disney's history, nobody appears to have laid eyes on the show since the spring of 1983.
That's a long time. That's over 40 years now.
And recordings are unlikely to surface at this point.
So yeah, we ain't seeing this one.
Toon News.
This one was one of my favorite ones. Again, I don't know if this full series has been found. I believe some more of it has, but I don't think the full series is accounted for. This is very weird for a concept of a cartoon, but I'll let them explain.
Toon News was a series of 26 5-minute-long computer-animated segments featuring Smokey Silvers, a robotic cowboy newsreader who delivered a day's events from Toon News blimp over Toontown. The segments often previewed the cartoon lineup to follow, working them into the Fox News reports, while also having their own storyline. They aired as shorts, serving to fill time between other shows while providing some entertainment and promotional value. And, of course, such content is rarely preserved properly.
Yep, and this is one of those shows that slipped through the cracks.
The series was good enough to be nominated for a BAFTA award, and while there are bits and pieces of it available online, there's nothing that comes close to amounting to the full run, or even one proper episode. Since the shorts aired between 2004 and 2005, even direct contact to the animators requesting for postings to be made online has so far not worked, as a fair amount of time has passed with no response.
And yeah, that's over 20 years now, because 2025, so it's a shame, but I hope more episodes of this come around, but I'm not sure.
Disney's Coyote Tales.
Ah, this one was found as well.
Aired on the Disney Channel in 1991, Coyote Tales amounted to a padding out of the 1961 short Coyote's Lament, which had been aired as an episode of the anthology series Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color. For the TV movie, the original short was recut with new footage and a new voiceover, replacing Walt Disney's own voice work with that of the aforementioned Jim Cummings, who has since made a name for himself supplying the voices of a great many Disney characters.
Oh yeah, Jim Cummings is a legend. He's voiced a lot of characters we know now.
It's the simple story of a coyote pup being taught to be proud to be a coyote by his elders. But the TV movie version illustrates their stories with the new footage, incorporating encounters with several well-known characters, mostly Pluto. While the original short Coyote's Lament is readily available online, Coyote Tales aired only once and has never been seen on any type of home video release.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Crybaby Lane. It was shown once but kind of forgotten about for a while until eventually it was brought back. Coyote Tales has been found.
The all-new Mickey Mouse Club. The third version of the venerable TV institution, the all-new Mickey Mouse Club, was launched in 1989 and is notable for the insane number of bona fide stars that its cast would eventually produce.
Oh yeah, all sorts of celebrities got their start on this show, or this incarnation of the show and previous ones. You'd be surprised to hear some of the names that they're going to mention in a second.
Actors like Ryan Gosling and Kerry Russell are alumni, along with a few artists that you may have heard of, such as Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, and Christina Aguilera. Although the series ran for 6 seasons,
not much of it remains, and yeah, look at all those stars that started off, you know, in the House of Mouse. It's funny.
And was successful enough to launch several members of its cast into international stardom. Material from the show is shockingly scarce. Only one full episode currently exists on YouTube, along with various scattered clips of musical performances and intros.
I'm glad we have something of this show, and again, I don't actually know if this show has been found or if more episodes have come from it, but it is a shame that most of this is lost, I think.
Adventures in Nutrition with Captain Carlos.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this one too. I don't know if this has been found or not, but I'm not really a fan of this show.
Another series of interstitial shorts, Adventures in Nutrition with Captain Carlos, aired on Playhouse Disney, now Disney Junior, sometime between 2007 and 2008. The Flash animation series was obviously meant to educate youngsters as to good nutrition habits, but was actually the recipient of several complaints from parents who found some of the advice to be poor quality, unrealistic, or both.
Yep, and that's one of the biggest mistakes you could ever do when it comes to like an educational or healthy show. Not getting your facts right or not setting realistic goals.
For example, the series implored kids to entirely avoid junk food of any kind, and I think we all know how likely that is.
Yeah, nah, that's not happening in today's society, no way.
While a few of the segments have popped up online in Spanish, and a rough cut of one episode exists on Vimeo, all of the other segments, except for one, are absent from YouTube or anywhere else on the web. None of the skits have aired since at least 2008, although if you were able to get your hands on any Playhouse Disney home media releases from prior to 2009, rumors swirl that some may be found this way.
But we don't really know for sure.
Disney's Timo Supremo. Timo Supremo was an animated superhero series which began airing in 2002 on Disney One, before being bounced around to Toon Disney, ABC Kids, and eventually back to Toon Disney again. It followed the adventures of child heroes Captain Crandall, Skate Lad, and Rope Girl,
A very unique lineup, I gotta say.
as they defended their city from all manner of supervillains. And like many of the entries on this list, featured outstanding voice talent like Mark Hamill and Tim Curry.
Wait, oh, I forgot Mark Hamill and Tim Curry was in this. God dang.
The series was drawn in the limited animation style pioneered by Rocky and Bullwinkle creator Jay Ward, giving it a distinct look in comparison to its peers. 39 episodes were produced, with the series ultimately being cancelled in 2004. The series wasn't that popular really, and while some dedicated fans have been diligently digging around for old VHS recordings or repeated airings, so far it appears that this series will largely remain lost.
Phineas and Ferb spot the diff.
Oh yeah, this one was found. I can remember people looking for this one. But yeah, this is pretty interesting, so again, I'll let them explain this one. But yeah, I can remember people looking for this one because it was found kind of recently. I think it was like 2017, 2018. I could be wrong that it was found, but I know it was eventually found.
This special 2-hour Phineas and Ferb mini marathon was aired on the Disney Channel in 2008. It contained 4 previously broadcast episodes which had been modified in-universe by Dr. Doofenshmirtz and his invention, the Change-inator in Nader.
Hence the name Spot the Diff, cause you have to try and guess what's different from the old episodes that Dr. Doof has changed. Which I think is actually a very clever idea for a special, because it means that they don't have to like make a whole new kind of episode for it. They can just go back, modify some stuff. But I mean, I guess you could call that lazy, but I thought it was a fun premise.
Random elements of each episode were changed, such as characters' hairstyles or clothing colors, and viewers were invited to keep track of all the changes they noticed at the official website of the show. This entry is notable for existing only in the memory of those who saw it. There is virtually no other evidence to even account for its existence.
But luckily, that's changed.
As the series was discontinued in 2015.
Yeah, it has been 10 years since Phineas and Ferb ended. Let that sink in. Well, I guess the original series, because I know there's like a revival of it now, but yeah. 2015. I can still remember when Phineas and Ferb ended. Wow.
It seems there is little possibility that it will ever make an appearance, unless perhaps one of you out there watching has a recording.
And thankfully, they were wrong. This one has been found.
Poor Papa.
And this one's been found as well. Well, it was more released, but yeah, Poor Papa was eventually... Like, we do know this one now, and there are videos of it.
The 1927 Oswald the Lucky Rabbit short. For this entry, we must go far, far back into Disney's history. How far, you ask? So far that at the time this short was produced, Mickey Mouse was just a gleam in the eyes of Walt Disney, whose first shorts arrived in 1928. This piece, from 1927, was the debut appearance of the character that Walt then thought would be his immortal legacy, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Unfortunately, this debut was deemed to be of too poor quality for release, and it wasn't until Oswald's second feature that the character took off, rivaling established characters such as Felix the Cat in popularity by late 1927. By this time, Disney was already developing plans for his first sound feature, Steamboat Willie, starring Mickey Mouse, the popularity of which would catapult Mickey to stardom. There are actually 3 copies of this short known to exist on VHS tape, all 3 of which have been sold to private collectors.
Yep, but again, it has since been released. Like, Poor Papa does exist and you can watch it in its entirety.
And none of them have been released online. Also, it is rumored that even these recordings only contain a little less than half of the shorts, meaning that the missing portion is most likely gone permanently.
Again, luckily they were wrong. And I'm glad it was found.
Uncle Walt. Although not produced by Disney, this short is notable for its use of Disney properties in, shall we say, highly unconventional ways.
Uh-oh, that could mean a few things.
Film student Robert Swarth produced the short in 1964 as a tribute of sorts, although I doubt very much that Walt would have approved. Descriptions of the short imply it's a not-so-lighthearted skewering of Disney's tropes, featuring Mickey and Minnie engaging in racist caricatures and off-color humor.
I can kind of see why this one would be lost.
Along with such images as the centaurs from Fantasia working in a red light district.
Whoa. Okay, that was one I did not get when I was watching this as a kid, but now I'm older and I know what a red light district is. Yeah, I can kind of see why this one was buried.
And the horrified reactions of children to some of Disney's more intense scenes,
I mean, that one's a little fair.
such as the witch's transformation in Snow White. This also appears to be a case in which the fading memories of those who have seen it will eventually bury it in the sands of time, which is probably what Walt would have wanted.
Yeah, I don't think he would have approved of his characters being used in this way.
It screened only once as part of a UCLA animation workshop in 1972, and no known prints or recordings exist.
And I don't know if that's changed since this video was posted. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. And finally, at number 1.
Lost Disney Channel wand idents.
Ah, yeah, this one's famous.
Finally, many of us remember the classic Disney Channel wand station identifications, featuring one or more of its actors or cartoon characters saying, "You're watching the Disney Channel," before drawing the station's logo with a wand. Many of these have aired over the years, featuring a staggering number of celebrities, including but not limited to
Yep, here we go, there's gonna be a lot of these.
Zac Efron, Lindsay Lohan, Hilary Duff, Ashley Tisdale, Shia LaBeouf, Vanessa Hudgens, the Jonas Brothers, Brenna Song, and a lot more. As often as we saw them, these station identifications have burned themselves into the memories of those of us who spent many a long childhood afternoon with the Disney Channel.
Yeah, this is probably going to be one of those things that you could really vividly remember if you watched the Disney Channel as a kid, seeing the actors or characters drawing the logo. So I can see why this one is at number 1, because I feel like if you didn't know anything on the list, you would know this one.
And, unfortunately, they are almost all lost. Only a tiny handful can be found on YouTube.
I don't know if any more have popped up since, but I kind of want all of them to be found.
Among the dozens and dozens that aired over the course of more than 10 years. Unless you have a time machine lying around, this is one part of your childhood that you'll have a tough time reliving online.
I don't think we'll get all of them back, but if we get like a good few of them, I think we can call it a win. Alright, and there we go. That was 15 lost Disney cartoons, episodes, and shorts that we may never see again by Blame It on George. Again, a lot has changed since this video came out. This was back in 2016. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite videos by Blame It on George, and I'm glad quite a few of these are now considered found media. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to become one of my disciples. Be sure to go and join the Discord server. The link is in the description down below. But for now, I'm Doc the Damned, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, my disciples.